They were visiting Mexico for 3 weeks. It was August, a foolish time to visit the Yucatan. The weather was too hot, too humid. There were sudden rainstorms every afternoon, downpours that could flood a street in a matter of seconds. That's right, folks. Today we're talking about The Ruins by Scott Smith. This book was published in 2006, which means it's coming up on its 20th anniversary, which is insane. This is the 6th title in my 50 favorite horror books series. August is the perfect time to read this, and I feel like this year has been just the perfect setup and atmosphere for me rereading this, because we've had a pretty mild summer where I live. It hasn't been over 100 degrees for 20 days in a row like it normally is until the later half of this month, where it's been quite warm. We've had several heat advisories. It's been hellish suddenly, and I should be used to it, but I'm still not. So reading this sticky hot, sweaty book while being sticky hot and sweaty myself really adds to the atmosphere and the reading experience of this book. Now in this, there's 4 main characters, but once we get to the Rune, there are 6 of them. There's Amy and Stacy, who are 2 best friends, and their partners, Jeff and Eric. And Jeff and Eric only really know each other because of Amy and Stacy. That's why they're there. They are visiting Mexico before their next semester at college starts. It's like over their summer break, obviously. And they're having a great time. Of course, all these characters have their own baggage and shit that they bring to the story. And that is really, I think, what makes this book so good, is that eventually they are trapped. They're trapped. And all these, like, little tiny resentments, things that might have happened in the past, suspicions, bubble up because they're in a pressure cooker situation. It's so fucking good. Amy, Stacy, Jeff, and Eric, they're in Mexico. They're partying it up. Eventually they meet this German native named Matthias, who was there with his brother, but his brother is not currently with him because his brother, I guess, went to this excavation site. He met a woman and he is like, I'm in love with her, I'm going. And Matthias is not happy about this. So they're hanging out with Matthias a lot. Also, these 3 men who are Greek, although they don't speak Greek, and the Greek men don't speak English or Spanish at all, so they can't really verbally communicate. So eventually what happens is Matthias asks Eric and Jeff if they will go with him to see what his brother is doing. And Jeff really jumps at this. Jeff is the kind of person who, he has an agenda. He doesn't want to sit on the beach and drink all day. He wants to see the culture. He wants to go to the places that aren't necessarily touristy, and this is the perfect opportunity for him. So he convinces his girlfriend, who convinces the other couple to go with them to this ruin, and they're not even really sure exactly where it is. They just know that it's away from, the resort areas, into the jungle. And when they get there to the ruin, they are not able to leave. And there is this plant there that has some strange qualities, let's just say. If you haven't read this or seen the movie, which okay, the first time I saw the movie, I did not like it. But after reading the book and then watching the movie over, I was like, okay, I think I actually do like this movie a little bit. I think they're both good. I think the book is obviously better. Scott Smith just has wonderful writing. It is honestly a crime against humanity that he has only written this and A Simple Plan. Both excellent books with these characters that you feel like you could pluck off the page and flick into real life, right? And they would be a well fleshed out human with history and opinions and thoughts and knowledge, They're in this horrible situation and they can't leave. And it's a survival horror book, so There's injuries. There is limited food and water. They're trying to figure out how they could possibly leave. And also, what happened to the people who were there before them? But I think now, rereading this, something that jumped out to me that didn't necessarily before is the friendship between Amy and Stacy. They're two different people. They each have their own shit to deal with. But the friendship between them is so strong, and you can tell that from the writing. It's just really incredible how he did that. There are some, there are a couple books that I think of when I think about this, kind of like Grady Hendrix's My Best Friend's Exorcism, where it's like, how did this person who did not experience girlhood friendship write girlhood friendship like this? Because it just seems so real and just so excellent. It's realistic, it's believable, and that's really, that goes for all the characters in this book and everything they say and do. It's like, of course Eric would do that. Oh my god, of course Matthias would be so stoic and, stuff like that. He just has such a very good idea of his characters and what their motivations are, and it shows in his writing, and it's so good. This is like the survival horror story, which was something that it's something I still love, but I don't find as many books now, maybe because I've read quite a few of them, that really wow me and really feel like actual survival horror, and not just like people in a temporary setting where things aren't going well. This is like, we're trapped. What are we going to do? How are we going to survive? Not just like, oh, we're here. Boo. And the plants in this, boy, the plants in this are something else. There is great body horror in this. Parts that make me cringe. Parts that make me want to like shrimp up because my body's like, oh my god, I can't read another. It's like you have to force yourself to read it almost, but not in a way like some books that are labeled as like extreme horror, where it feels gratuitous, or like it's like the author wants to make you feel that way. This is just Scott Smith telling you what happened in this situation. He's not actually trying to make you feel bad. He's simply the observer, and he's simply the person who's chronicling what happened. That's what it feels like to me. It's not horrible to be horrible. It's just precisely what happened. Yeah, and the end, again, I can't really remember what happens in the movie in the end, but the ending of this is like, it fills you with a sense of dread. You're like, oh my god, no. How could this happen? The plants are just so sinister. I love this book. That is a little short and sweet discussion about The Ruins by Scott Smith. One of my favorite books of all time. My favorite survival horror story. The reason I became interested in reading horror books set in the summer, this is like the prime example of that. Hot, you can't get away from the elements, you are trapped somewhere, bad stuff's happening to you. That's it. So I'd love to know, have you read The Ruins? What do you think about it? What did you think about the movie? Do you have any survival horror recommendations? Because I am always still kind of like chasing that feeling that books like The Ruins give me, where it's just inescapable, you know what I mean? So I'd love to hear if you have anything else that you think I should read. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Goodbye.